In this next section, we're going to talk about the pre-production of your course, researching your topic, developing your course outline, materials and slides, and where to find images for your course that won't get you sued. Often, this work that happens ahead of recording is what takes the most time, and it's what makes the difference between a good course and an exceptional one. Let's dive in. See that pile of books? Before I even wrote my outline for my best-selling course on big data, I spent a full month reading up on all the latest developments and technologies in the field. I actually read every one of these from cover to cover and practiced using these technologies on my own to make sure I was comfortable using them in their latest forms. For technical topics in particular, things change very quickly, and even if you were an expert in the topic a year ago, things have probably changed so much in the past year that you have a lot of catching up to do. It's bad enough that you're going to have to keep updating your course as the world continues to change, so don't make life more difficult than it has to be by starting off with outdated information. Some students will know if what you're presenting is obsolete information, and you'll get dinged in your reviews for it. So save everyone some trouble, and make sure you're not only an expert in the topic you're teaching, but make sure you're an expert in the latest developments and emerging trends in what you're teaching as well. One of my newer courses even has little segments called Bleeding Edge Alerts, where I present new technologies that haven't quite made it to the mainstream yet, but look like they have a lot of potential. This will keep that course fresh and up to date for some time to come. By doing this research, you'll also feel more confident in the topic yourself, and that confidence will show through in your presentation of the material. Students like confident teachers who know what they're talking about. Now that you're personally up to speed on the topic you want to teach, it's time to start applying what you yourself have learned by creating any practice materials or exercises associated with your course. I like doing this before I write the course itself, because if you can build your course around a large, single project, the process of building out that project yourself will often inform many of the little things your course needs to teach along the way. Students do seem to like project-based courses too. If you can structure your course such that students incrementally build something substantial as they progress through it, it motivates them to complete the course and gives them a strong sense of accomplishment once they have finished it and have something they have made themselves in hand. And happy students mean good reviews. Don't skimp on developing hands-on activities and exercises for your course. Students, especially in technical topics, have an insatiable appetite for hands-on practice. Courses that are all theory and no practice will not fare well on Udemy. You really can't provide too much in this area. No matter how much hands-on material you provide, students will still say they want more. For a large technical course, I might spend close to a month just developing the coding exercises for it. You also need to think about how to split up the project in a project-based course into tasks that build upon each other. So now we're up to 2 months in developing a course, one doing research and one developing activities for it, and we have yet to even prepare a single slide yet. Creating a comprehensive course of high enough quality to be a bestseller is a lot of hard work, and you just can't rush it. Next, we can finally start to create an outline for your course. It doesn't have to be anything fancy because you will probably end up refining it while you're recording and find issues with how different concepts flow together, or you may have second thoughts about whether some topics should be covered at all. Here's the start of the actual outline I wrote for this course. I just threw it together in Google Docs. The headers correspond to the sections in my course, and underneath each section is a list of the topics I want to cover, sometimes with a few notes to myself on the specifics I have in mind for presenting them. If you prefer more formality, that's fine. Use whatever style works for you. The important thing is to have a concrete plan of the sections and lectures you need to create, so you can start chipping away at that plan. Udemy recommends around 3 to 7 lectures per section and having at least one hands-on activity in each section. They've done a lot of research on how to keep students engaged, and you'll find more recommendations from them in your course creation dashboard under the Course Structure tab. They also recommend mixing up your lecture formats within a section. I like to start a section with a talking head segment introducing it, followed mostly by screencasts. Remember, it's best to keep individual lectures short. Around 5 minutes or so is optimal, with each lecture only covering a single topic. The shorter, the better, really. Students get a little sense of accomplishment whenever they complete a lecture, and you'll deliver more of that good feeling when you have lots of short lectures. It also recognizes that people have short attention spans, and we have to work around that. In addition to the material you want to teach, it's a good idea for every course outline to have a few other things in it as well. As we discussed in our own quick win for this course, the very first thing you want to deliver in your course is a sense of accomplishment to your students. Start right off with having them build or create something they can be proud of, or lead right off with the most valuable piece of knowledge you have to offer. When your students are prompted for their initial thoughts about your course, you want the review they leave to be a positive one. And if you can deliver value within the first 12 minutes that makes them feel like they already got their $10 investment back many times over, then you'll be rewarded with exceptional review scores. It's also a good idea to include a quick Udemy 101 lecture to educate students on how to use the Udemy UI. Show them how they can speed up the videos if they think you're talking too slow, or slow down the videos if they think you're talking too fast. Show them how to enable closed captions if they have trouble understanding you. Show them how Udemy's Q&A features work, so you don't get inundated with direct messages that belong in the Q&A section. If you attach resources to your lectures, show them how to find them. Doing this will avoid some negative reviews and some questions from students who are new to the platform. After you have about 10 minutes of lecture videos in your course, it's good to insert a small message at that point warning students that Udemy may prompt them for a review. Some students are a little confused at being asked to review a course that you've only just started, and will just leave a middle-of-the-road 3-star review because they simply think it's too soon to render judgment on it. You want to be sure that they know they have the option to hit Ask Me Later if they just aren't ready yet. Take care in how you phrase this message, as you need to stay within Udemy's policies. You're allowed to encourage people to leave a review, but you're not allowed to even hint that they should leave a positive one. I usually say something like this. Hey folks, Frank Kane here. At this point in the course, Udemy might ask you to provide an early review for it, and I certainly hope you've liked what you've seen so far, and if you do have early thoughts about the quality of this course, I encourage you to leave an honest review when you're asked. But if you think it's just too soon, there is a little option there to ask you again later. Don't be afraid to just hit that if you want more time to decide. And with that, let's get back to learning. Don't even use the phrase 5-star review, or it might land you in trouble with Udemy's trust and safety team. You have to be careful when talking about reviews with your students. Your objective is just to make sure that if they're not ready to review your course yet, they know they have the option to skip that prompt. As we discussed earlier, students love hands-on activities. Make sure every section of your course has some opportunity for students to reinforce what you've taught through hands-on activities, exercises, projects, or at least a quiz. If you can include a challenge for a final project in your course, all the better. You'll leave your students with a sense of big accomplishment when they're done. And when you're wrapping up your course, there are a few things you should mention. A good note to end on is by pointing them to resources for continuing their learning on that topic. You're not allowed to promote your own courses unless you're in the final bonus lecture, but it's okay to show students some relevant books and websites as long as you're not earning affiliate commissions or anything like that from it. You'll also want to make a final call to action for students to leave an honest review at the end of the course. Udemy weights reviews based on how much of the course the student has consumed upon writing it, so written reviews students leave at the end of the course count a lot toward your course's overall review score. If you've been sure to leave them with a sense of accomplishment at the end, this can help out your review score a lot. Not many students actually make it all the way to the end of a course, but those that do have a large influence on your course's rating. The very last thing in your outline should be your bonus lecture, and that's important enough to warrant its own slide.